Hi guys, this is Miss Polly. I am recording today just to kind of introduce myself and talk about poly and how it is for me and what it could be for you possibly if you're interested. So I'm outside today, it's kind of raining a little bit. You could probably hear it. So anyway, like I said, my name is Miss Polly. I use a couple different platforms to talk about poly relationships, and if people have lots of questions, I'm here to answer those questions for you. I also am on Tagged, Tagged. I use that to kind of converse and have a little fun there. That's one platform. And I also have a Facebook page called Miss Polly and a group which is Miss Polly, Polywrite, Polyrigt, because I'm trying to help people polywrite and make sure we're all, on the same page. So I'll tell you a little about myself. I am 33, and I basically have been kind of practicing poly without really knowing what it was. I would say that I kind of was kind of always kind of open to the fact that I could love more than one person at once, and it never was an issue for me. But I felt like, in society it tells you can't do that, and even if you did love two people at one time, you need to pick one to have as a partner. So you end up just which one's better or which one's gonna benefit me more or whatnot, and you choose that person as your partner. And sometimes I wouldn't really necessarily want to choose between the two, and I've had to make those decisions, and I didn't really necessarily like them. So that was kind of some of the things I experienced. But most of the time I was monogamous. I never had really like any deep issues with cheating or anything. I've had people ask me like, did you start because people kept cheating on you and you just wanted to give them an option out other than leaving you? And I was, truthfully, no, because actually I guess I always offer that. Unknowingly, I always say, oh, you're dating me, that's wonderful. I just want you to know that, like, if you ever interested in someone else sexually or something like that, you know, as long as you're communicating me what's going on, and if something happens, to let me know, I'm really not going to be all that upset about it. And just be honest with me. Now, I always say that. It doesn't always work out that way where someone follows the honesty rule, because I think they don't believe me when I say I'm not going to be upset. And so sometimes they've done it and I've shown them that I'm upset and they're fine. And sometimes they've done it and not wanted to tell me for long periods of time. And when they do, it's fine. But I always, reiterate, like, don't wait, because, then that looks like you're just being dishonest. And dishonest situations are different than, sharing with me what's going on. So, when I'm been monogamous, I enjoy being monogamous also. I didn't really have any issue. But I did start kind of looking into on some poly situations. I've heard some poly things. I've seen some things. But if you just say, for if you're a woman, if you don't know if you really want to date girls that much, or you're not sure, then most time poly, you see polygamy. And polygamy is when a man has more than one partner, and usually they're not interacting with each other sexually. Their relationship's platonic. So when it's platonic, they just kind of relax and live together, or coincide existence. Not necessarily spending time with each other. So polygamy is one of the ones that everyone sees, everyone knows about, or I found out a little later in life, polyamorous also could be, two women and one man. But the women also have a relationship that they interact with, and they can also basically be independent without their third partner, and they can be, independent with each one. So if you have two women and you have a relationship with both of them, and they have a relationship with themselves, that is going to be a polyamorous tripod. And they close off. So there's different terminology, which I will get into later. We'll make a little video about that. But basically, a triad's three. So you have three people that all interact with each other. So those tripods are very interesting. It looks very loving. Uh, tripods look amazing. Anyone who can find partners that all get along and coexist together are very lucky to have each other, because it looks wonderful, truthfully. And that could be the same. Tripods don't have to be two women and one man. It could be two men and one woman. Same situation. So I also look a little further into it, and polyandry is another option. So polyandry is when there's one woman, same thing as a polygamist, but opposite. There's a woman and she has multiple men partners. And she has individual relationships with them, and they don't really have any relationship with each other. They're platonic. And I want to really touch on that, because I think a lot of women feel like when they hear about the poly, they really think about it as if I have to be bisexual to be in a poly relationship, because if I don't like women or I'm not interested in women, then I'm not able to be poly and have more than one partner. And that's not true. Currently, I am polyandry, and I have men partners, and they're not with each other, and they're just kind of with me. So with that being said, I know there's a lot of controversy about that, and then people will say, well, they're just with you because they want to have sex with you. Then I have a whole process when I date, that I try to weed out those people who just want that. And then of course there are people who just want to have sex, but try to weed those out and use your common sense, and also use your partners to help you with that, truthfully. If you are like myself and you're polyandry and you have male partners, I mean, there's no other better person but a man to tell you if another man is just trying to use you for sex, right? So a lot of times I will speak to one of my partners about maybe a situation. I let him know who I'm with and things like that, and he gives me a little insight of himself, and sometimes also can ease my concerns when I have partners, because sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if they're even serious, and he can ease those thoughts, or help me realize that it's not going to work. So that's really important to me. Now with that, with those three kind of polys, there also is, I don't consider them a poly group, but I still consider them of somewhat the same, because it still deals with multiples. Open relationships. If you're in an open relationship, you really just are open with your partner, being able to sexually explore with others, and even maybe have a good conversation or connection, because when you get older, you really want more of a connection mentally for you to even get off seriously. A lot of men from like about 28 on start to realize, hey, I can fuck anyone, but I'd rather just get to know someone, have somewhat of a connection prior to interacting with him. And that's true. So a lot of times, if you want to find someone to mess around with and you're open, that's what you can do. But the only thing about that is, when you're open, you usually have a main partner, and no one is going to replace your partner. No one's going to be on the same level. No one's going to have the same authority or the same privileges as your main partner. So and I sometimes I use words I make up myself. So in those situations, it's kind of, to me, and I think about it visually, if you are a couple and you're dating a woman, and she likes you both, and you guys hang out with her, you have good times, you go out to dinners, you have fun, but she doesn't live with you, she doesn't have anything to do with your financial situation, and when things come up and decisions are needed to be made about maybe what job you'll go to, if you'll move out of town or whatnot, they don't really have a say in those choices. And so that's someone who is going to be, one of the words I use sometimes is a pet. And I know that sounds bad, but some people really love their pets, so don't think of it in a bad way. People love their pets. I mean, Lord, they'll have the clothes for their pets, all kinds of things, grooming, daycares. You can really care for your pet, but your pet's not going to determine. It may determine if you maybe leave, you might consider that, but you can love them to death, but when it comes to like if you're going to move out of state, your pet really doesn't have a lot to say, if that makes sense. I know they may have a say about, what apartment building you live in, but, when you're making those larger decisions, they're not going to be part of those things. So that's, if you want to do that with someone, you just want to kind of hang out with a partner, or a couple partner, you obviously may be a person who doesn't have a lot of time for that deep connection, and you're okay with going on trips and having a good time with them, but necessarily want to go back to your regular, life and do whatever you were doing prior to. So, and that's a really big thing. So I really enjoy myself being polyandry, and like I said, you don't have to stay polyandry. That's really a big thing. You can move up the spectrum. So if let's say we have those open, all those four there, we'll even include open. At one point in your life you might be polyandry, another you may be polyamorous, another time you might be polyandry. And when I say that, is because of the different dynamics that we are able to have now in society. So I did hear about, and I see they have a YouTube channel, and forgive me, I forgot the name, but two gentlemen are bisexual from what I understand, and they're looking for a polyandry woman who wants to have more than one partner. And so they would probably be a polyamorous tripod, but they're looking for a polyandry woman because she wants more than one partner. So your individual self can practice something, and your other partners may be something else. So I've been in a situation where, my partner is monogamous, and I'm polyandry, and so we had that discussion if they'd like to, try this out and see how that works for them. So I'm polyandry, but my partner, if we break up, they may be going back to monogamy because they don't want to be they don't want to be with other people. So, that is an option for us. So you kind of got to know what you would like to have, be open to it. So through this journey, what I was trying to do here is kind of document a few things. I want to really educate people on what poly is, who don't know. And that's not trying to convert you to be poly. I'm not trying to do that. But there's a lot of people who are actually doing poly things either the wrong way. They may basically identify incorrectly. And we want to make sure they're identifying, the right way. Or they may be not sure if they would like to be poly, but they have interest in having more than one partner, but they're not even sure what to do or start, or how can I look into that information. So I want to give out information and provide that for you. I also want to be able to give a better look to poly, because right now a lot of people see poly as either somebody in Utah or Mormons, or someone who has 12, 14-year-old girls, and they're married and having children, and they're all different ages and all that. And that's not everyone. Now, you can be a religious group that believes in polygamy or a kind of poly, but not necessarily representing the whole poly spectrum. And so we want to be able to give a diversity to that. And especially with us being, different ethnicities, you have challenges with coming forward with being poly. I know a large island population, they're not really down with, especially the older people, are not really down with being open. And it looks, when you want to come out and say you want more than one partner as someone from the islands, that can be very hard. And so we want to be able to share those experiences. We share that on my Facebook a lot. People come and talk. I'm trying to build a group right now. It's fairly new, and so we're going to do that. And then also on my tagged account, Ms. Polly, also sharing that information. Coming to a place where you feel safe and that there's other people like you who want to share information. I'll tell you one thing I realized as a poly person is when I have a struggle if I have more than one partner, so I have a struggle with my second partner or whatnot, I will go to a monogamous person and say, I'm really having a problem with my boyfriend, he's really struggling with this. And, their first thing is like, why do you have two? Why don't you just get rid of one of ones, and I'm like, well, they mean something to me. And every time you get an argument, you don't break up with your partner. So what I want to do is share with people who understand where I'm coming from and give me advice maybe, or listen to my, my woes, and be able to share with me. Because if you have the same concern, you're going to be like, I had that too. When someone went through that, this is what happened with them. And this is maybe something you could try to ease that. That poly is really about communication, and sharing. And even if you're not poly, I still think it's nice to hear some of the information I'll try to share with you regarding, building good relationships, building that foundation that you want in any relationship, regardless if it's one or two or three. You want to build good foundations where you trust and you're honest. And I believe that monogamy kind of, tells us the opposite. It says, if someone's doing something you don't like, you kind of just suck it up because you chose to be with them. Or, if there's something going wrong, you just kind of sit back and let it fester. And unfortunately, that's why a lot of people have blow ups, and they're out here running the streets, or some different, all kinds of different scenarios. But I think if we all go back to, let's be very honest, let's be very truthful with each other. Let's talk about, real raw honesty. And when you're poly, for you to build trust between men or women amongst the group, you have to be very honest. Because, when you start lying or not telling the truth, it's two people or three people looking at you now who are trying to decipher if you're doing the right thing. And those people are in some ways, really going to know what's going on. So you want to be able to be upfront, honest, and sincere, so that they feel safe too. You want them to feel safe, and you want to feel safe, and have those safe moments for conversation. Have those safe moments where you're able to share, what's going on with your partner. And I enjoy those moments, and I think my partners enjoy it too. When I tell them, be honest with me, share with me, because I actually want to know you. I want to know where you're coming from, and I want to be, something positive in your life. I want you to be able to feel like when you're with me, you're okay. And that's what everyone wants with their partner. They want to feel okay and safe and be their true selves. And that's what I feel like I actually have to give to have a good relationship. Because if I'm not giving that, it's very easy for them not to trust me already. So we're already in a, weird place, especially if they're monogamous, like I said. Me being polyandry, I've come against that a lot, because only 4% of the whole world practice polyandry. And so as a current polyandry practicer, I found it extremely hard to find men to date. When I was just looking on the poly websites, I noticed that all I was seeing is, a lot of explicit photos or something, or I get kind of gathered up. They'll say polyamorous, but the dating realm will be more, sex lifestyles, or people kind of promoting sex. And that's not what I'm about. Or the people in the groups will be very, not that I'm against anyone being older, but, like 45, 40s and up. And the reason why I think that is because they're okay now. Their children are grown, so they can be more open and free with who they want to be and who they want to date. It doesn't matter that much anymore. So then their guards down, and they're able to express themselves. But there's a lot of us who aren't that old yet, and we would love to have those relationships and maybe build something for our future with more than one person. And so we want an opportunity to do that in a place where it's not a sexual setting all the time. And I'm not saying you can't be a sexual poly person, and I'm not saying that, but you can also be a poly person and not extremely sexual. And you just want that real loving connection. You love hugs and snuggles and all that great stuff, right? So I want to really, point out those things. And so as I was looking, I found myself going back to monogamous ways to find people to date. And what I did is just really was very open with it. I had to be. I put on my site, I am polyandry. If you don't know what that is, you could ask me. And a lot of men did still talk to me. And I found one of my partners on an app, and he was, very monogamous, and he said he didn't know if that was going to work for him. And I said, well, we can try, and we did try, and we've been together since, and it's very nice, and he's a very good communicator. So, things that we thought we would probably wouldn't even try, we have done, and we're being very successful in that, and trying to practice every day being positive and open, and making each other be the best that we can be every day. So we want to really promote that. I want to give information out and share that with you guys on those platforms, and I hope that it touches you. And even if you're not going to be poly, like I said, at least give you information about the people who are around you. So then when you go into a situation, you meet someone and you see there's a third partner, that hopefully now that it won't be such an extreme for you, and you can be like, oh well, that's nice to meet your second partner or your life partner or whatnot, and be open to that, because a lot of people hide and hide in it, and no one wants to feel like a secret, especially when you're with your partner. You love them, you're proud of them, you want to share them with the world because they're wonderful to you, and to feel like you're a secret or hidden is very hurtful. And that's even with women who men maybe be cheating with their wife with, and you're the lady on the side, and they ask why women make scenes. I'm gonna tell you why, because she's a secret, and no one wants to feel like a secret. No one wants to feel that way. So even in those monogamous situations, we want to be seen, we want to be loved and heard and shared, as a group. So this is just our intro. I will be making another video and posting it. Like I said, I have lots of streams that I have uploaded to my Miss Poly, MZPOLY, Facebook page. And I talk a little there. It's more freestyle there. And then I also have my tagged account, which I still use. I do know it's a dating app, but a lot of people use it for streaming, if you don't know. And I stream on there, and that's how I kind of got started talking about poly. Because lots of people would come to me, and they would ask me what it was, or ask me what I'm doing. And I found myself in situations where I was kind of being interviewed and asked lots of questions. And I was able to share that, and I enjoyed that. So that's what I'm going to continue to do on these other platforms. And I'm going to take you through some journeys. And I have a few people who would like maybe do little interviews with me. We can record those, and some people who would like to show you some journeys up for themselves in their life. Me personally, I would show you guys some things that happen to me as I am dating. Currently, I do date right now to add to my pod. So I am dating. But I'm dating a little bit slower because I want long-term partners. So like I said, we'll go through all the facets of that, and I'll have another video for you. I try to make this one too long, just because it's my little intro. And if you'd like to see more of me, hit me on the Facebook page on tagged, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for sharing, any information down below, any comments, and I hope you appreciate my time today, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.